Hey guys, Sean T. Phillips here. Welcome to a brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Today you're gonna go out, see what kind of stuff came out, see what the additions of the Hateful Eight are as well. You may go to a thrift store or two, see where else we end up going. Also, I'll let you guys know too that me and Brendan, me and Wetmouy are going to be at the Days of the Dead Horror Convention this Saturday. So if you guys see us there, don't be afraid to say hello. Like I said, we'll be there this Saturday. That's in Burbank. Also, going to have a couple reviews at the end of this video. So anyway, though, guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. So one of the big things that came out today was this, the Hateful Eight. This is the exclusive lenticular cover edition of this. It has some exclusive content, inside look at the film. I thought there was a steelbook as well. I have to look in the main section and see if there is, but I saw this when I was walking in. If you guys haven't seen my review of that too, I have that up. I'll, check it out. It was in the last update. But, I actually really like this movie a lot, but it's very cool different cover on this. Well, I don't see a steelbook over here at all. I only see this one. For some reason, I thought there was a steelbook of this, but I guess there wasn't. Also came out today was Concussion, which, I kind of heard mixed things about this one. And then the other thing was this Keanu Reeves film called Exposed, which I haven't heard anything about this. Only thing I did hear was, it had, a recut and it got changed all around a lot. That was the only thing I heard, but I don't really know the plot of that one. Into the quality resale store we go. I was in here a few weeks ago. I'm going to look through and see if anything else is different. This is this one that I discovered, just randomly, this thrift store. There's a pretty big section of movies and stuff in here, a lot of different stuff. I automatically saw this one, so I'm going to have to look this one up. Some of the Anchor Bay ones, like I've always talked about, can be really, rare ones. This one I don't recall. I'm going to have to look this up and see. It's Mayo and the Land of the Faraway. I've never heard of this one in my life. I don't know anything about this one, so this one I'm definitely going to have to look it up. There's a random, maybe this is a bootleg or something of Beauty and the Beast. I think, yeah, this is definitely a weird bootleg copy of it. Let's see it. Yeah, see, it's weird bootleg discs. It's always weird when you see these strange bootlegs and stuff in here, because this has been released. And sometimes these weird movie collections like this can sometimes be really rare, certain ones of them. I think this is from, Brentwood, so sometimes these ones can be actually pretty decent in here, but I don't know how often this location changes stuff out. Sometimes it can be the same things for a long time, because you never really know how they get all these things. If people bring them in or what, how exactly they work. I'm just going to keep looking in here and see if there's anything else that looks different. There's another bootleg in here. Yeah, it's always weird when you find these bootlegs. These are the things that they would sell on the street in New York City and stuff like that. I've never actually seen a lot of them out here. When I used to go to New York and stuff like that, you'd see them on the street, these weird bootlegs. The last ones I saw was with Danny when they had that Star Wars one in that store. But I can't tell if anything else is different in here or not. But it sort of seems like a lot of the same things from last time. But I like to just look, because you never know what can be. I'll show you guys outside if I end up getting that other thing, if that actually is a rare one or not. Well, I don't need to show you outside. I looked this up, on Amazon, and I didn't look a whole lot of places, but the first thing I had that came up said $99. So, and it's also, I think it says Mayo and the Land of Faraway. I don't know why I'm saying Faraway, but I'm definitely going to get this one. That's the thing is, these places you never know, and it's only, $2.99. It's 4 for $10. So if I find anything else, it'll be even better deal. But that's crazy. You can sometimes find these rare ones. Like I said, these Anchor Bay ones, if you ever see them, always look them up. You can find some really good ones. You never know. I found another interesting one that sells for $15 to $20. The Minion starring Dolph Lundgren, and I've never heard of this one in my life. It says in the tradition of the mummy. So it seems like it's some kind of a mummy, kind of I guess sort of knockoff or something with Dolph Lundgren, which I'm gonna probably get that one as well. There's a lot of decent stuff in here today. This one, I used to, for something about, I don't know if any of you guys remember the trailer to this, but for some reason as a kid, the trailer to this movie freaked me out so bad. I don't know why. It was something about the narration of this. It always seemed like it was going to be a horror movie. I don't know why. It just felt like that to me. And look at this. It's a weird, Asian edition of Pinocchio. This, I don't know. It's a Region 2 release. I don't know if this is a real official release or an Asian bootleg of it. It looks like it might be a real one. It's kind of cool cover on this one. I don't know. That's really kind of an interesting one. They have a bunch of weird loose discs in here. I don't know what they cost, but I usually wouldn't buy something loose, but just in case they could have something really rare or something in here. You never know. I saw a weird some of these bootleg things that have like 5 movies on them. This is really odd. 9 movies or something. It's strange. Yeah, look at some of these random like movie things. They're like bootlegs. Blockbuster 421 movies. It's got like Blade, War of the Worlds, Harry Potter, and this one is like Paramount ones. I don't even think all these movies are Paramount movies. You know, Elf. I think Elf's Warner Brothers. I'm not certain, but and then look at the bootleg with like the Friday films, Friday After the Next, 8 Mile. But they're like pressed discs, but I don't know where these came from. And then this one that has all Nicole Kidman movies. These are really weird. I know, because these is definitely not sanctioned discs. I do not know. Yeah, so I ended up getting, you know, these 2 ones, but this one is one of the best finds I found in a long time, this Maya on the Land of Faraway. But I definitely have to check this place out. I asked them how they get this stuff. They said, oh, it's like estate sales and like storage lockers and stuff like that. And it sounds like they have a lot more in the back. So I guess they like, as space opens up, they bring more out. So it's like, who knows what other kind of gems and stuff they have in there. Watch, they have like Freeway 2 in there. Because like this is like from the era of when they would have it. So you never know. Like that's like this, a place like this too, I don't think they do like, they just kind of have like one price for everything, so you can really find some good stuff in places like this. Into FYE we go. Well, we'll take a look and see everything in here. And people always say, why don't you come back here? I come here like every once a month or every few weeks and just sort of check to see if anything new, you know, they bought anything new and stuff. Every so often, you know, they get some different stuff, but other times it can be the same stuff for a really long time. I never really look at anything besides, like I always say, the used stuff, because that's really where you find the best stuff in here. And like there was one time I came in here and they must have bought like this huge set of all these horror movies this guy sold, and there were so many rare stuff in here that I bought, and I missed a lot too. And I remember one time they came in here, they had like all those Disney tins, and like they had the Zorro one, which I should have got for like $40. I think that sells like for like, I think like $200. It's one of the rarest ones in here. Lately they don't have music on in here, which I can film in here really well, because I think they like, when you come during the day, they don't really want to listen to this music, so you can kind of really film in here and like look at it really well. Other times, if you come like, you know, during peak hours, it's really impossible to ever get any video in here, but we'll just keep looking and I'll show you guys when we get out if I end up finding anything in here. Sometimes though they know, like this is like newer used stuff, like they know when something's out of print, like they put it like $14.99 and stuff, so they sometimes can tell, but sometimes the prices on the new stuff they get in, it's funny, they put this Edward Scissorhands, this green case, but you know, sometimes they really know the prices. I mean, with the new releases, they like make them more money than they are even to get the, you know, actual, when it was new, like $25 for this, like this is like set, you know, $16 when it came out, so it's really strange, their pricings and things like that in here. And you know, sometimes you can come here and really find decent things. Other times though, it's really weird pricing. Like, why is the Good Dinosaur $19.99, but then that is so much more? Yeah, nothing in FYE. You know, they haven't changed anything out there in a while. Not too much new. Like, I don't think they're buying as much stuff, or at least people aren't bringing in as much or something in there. And like right as I was leaving, they turned on the music. So luckily enough, I got a little bit of footage in there before the music started blasting. Into Walmart we go. Yeah, so pretty much today, really, the main stuff today was Concussion and, you know, the Hateful Eight. They don't seem to have any special editions of that one in here. But, like, the trade-off if you get the one in Target is, it doesn't open up like this. So you don't have the one that opens up like this if you get the one with the slip cover, you know, with the lenticular cover on it. But... and also, yeah, too, Point Break was today. I'm going to review that one, you know, at the end of this video. This one was okay, but like I said, I'll review this one at the end of this video. And it looks like over here is all the same stuff again. They still haven't changed anything out in here. It's all still the same stuff from the last couple weeks. I don't think anything yet has changed in here. Like I said, it's really weird how there goes for certain periods of time when it's like a good like 3-4 weeks, sometimes a little later before this section changes out stuff, when there's like a whole lot of kind of like a dry spell of new kind of stuff coming out. So that's pretty much not too much else in here. A million of the chipmunks in there in this box. Like, I think these are like the go back box, like the overstock box, but nothing else really too different in here today. Into Best Buy we go. Yeah, so I was wrong. The Hateful Eight Steelbook, the limited Steelbook, is actually a Best Buy exclusive one. This one doesn't have any extra features like exclusive stuff like the Target one does. But this is where they had the Steelbook, so I was totally wrong on that. But not too much else today in here that I'm noticing. Like I said, this one, which I haven't heard too much about what this is about, but really all I heard was there was some stuff with the editing of this movie, and like the director took his name off of it, and it was a huge thing, and originally wasn't really Keanu Reeves as the lead, and the one actress in this was from Knock Knock, which she was in with him as well, which she's actually very good, but I might check this one out down the line. Well, that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. I was happy though to find those 2 out-of-print ones. Those were really definitely good finds, especially the one that's worth $100. But nothing else major out today though. And also, like I said, if you guys are going to the Days of the Dead Horror Convention in Burbank this Saturday, me and Wet and we will both be there, so definitely look out for us if you guys are there. And stay tuned now for a couple new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. And the first one I got from Warner Brothers is the Point Break remake. Now, I have actually never seen the original film. I don't know how I've ever seen it. It's one of those movies that somehow I kind of never have gotten around to seeing. I've always seen the DVD of it and seen the Blu-ray. I know Keanu Reeves is in it. Like I said, I don't know how I've never seen it, so I couldn't compare this to the original. But I know that I've seen clips of the original. I always know that scene with the bank robber and them wearing those masks. So I know that aspect of it, but I don't know really the whole plot of the movie. So I don't know if it's very similar to this or not. But this is essentially though about a guy who's an extreme athlete, jumping over mountains on bikes and things like that. And him and his friend in the beginning are jumping off these things, and the friend ends up dying. And after this happens, he kind of quits this lifestyle and kind of changes, and he ends up going to basically be a cop and with the FBI kind of thing, and solving cases, and just basically changes his whole life around. And all of a sudden, there's all these robberies going on, stealing things and all these kind of different things being stolen. And he comes up with this idea that he believes it has to do with them trying to commit kind of this spiritual enlightenment of committing these certain type of extreme athlete type stunts, and if they get that, they kind of get spiritual enlightenment. And he kind of believes it's this group of people that are probably doing this because all the bank robbers they believe are connected. So he ends up trying to track down the group of these people and going undercover with them and trying to let them accept him in, since he has the lifestyle in the past of doing this. Of course, this group doesn't know anything about him, whether he is cop or any of that kind of stuff, but they kind of accept him in, and that's his kind of goal, is to get in with them and try and figure out exactly what they're doing, if they are behind these things, and what their ultimate goal and plan is. And he kind of tags along with them with what they're doing. But it has on here behind the scenes on the stunts, because the movie's really the biggest aspect of this movie, and the best stuff that was filmed wise was the stunts. There's some really insane stunt sequences in this movie, but I didn't love this movie, to be honest. It was okay. I just didn't get too into the movie. It wasn't poorly done or anything, but it just wasn't really my kind of movie. Like I said, I don't know if the original was this same kind of vibe or not. Has on here though, the stuff on here, like I said, there's some featurettes on the movie, deleted scenes. But it was an interesting watch. Like I said, it's mainly best for the sequence of the stunts and stuff like that. The next one from Screen Archives and from Twilight Times release is limited to 3,000 copies. And this is a movie that I remembered seeing in film history class, and I always forgot the name of it, and then only recently remembered, discovered the name, and then saw this was coming out. And this was a movie that there's a teacher that I had called Don Lyford, and he was one of my favorite teachers in school, and he was also an actor in the past, and he was in indie horror movies. He was in Fiend and all this stuff. And I only he didn't tell too many people about the horror movies, but he told me about them because he knew that I did shorts and things like that back then. And that was one of the first kind of person that I knew who was doing horror films and indie horror stuff. It kind of was one of the first times I kind of had the thought of doing something like that. I feel he was a big inspiration to me in a lot of areas, and also the idea of talking about film. And I feel he was one of the inspirations too for me to do what I do now with the reviews. And also I was actually, the idea of doing, he actually was one of the first times, too, I did anything in front of people in the morning announcements at school, because he was, the head of that. So I was he really shaped a lot of what I did. So, I don't know, everything that he did, this movie, I always liked this mainly because of that, because I just always remember that story of him showing this. But it has a really great cast in this. Judy Gearson, who was, recently came back to acting after a long retirement in Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem, and she's going to be in his new film. John Hurt's in this movie. Richard Otterbong, who is from Jurassic Park. That was I think probably his most known movie. At least I always think of him most for that. But this is a movie, a true story about the serial killer who had basically had this kind of apartment complex, and like women that were like sick and stuff like that, he kind of moonlighted as a doctor that he could like help them and things like that. They would come in there and he would basically put this gas on and say, "Oh, this gas is going to help you," and it was basically would poison them and kill them, and that was kind of how he got off, was poisoning them on this gas. A very cool, weird, ahead of its time movie about this serial killer. It has on here a commentary track, 2 commentary tracks, isolated score, but looks really good and like a really cool, I feel like, movie not a lot of people have seen. The next one, this is so cool, is a Blu-ray of this, and I don't know if it's out yet to buy or not, but it's a show that I really like, called the Box Max Show. It's basically about, cooking macaroni and cheese with Jonathan Hunt, like cooking macaroni and cheese and kind of reviewing it, trying all different types. It's on YouTube. I'll put a link to the channel, and I think that would have a link too, if I can find one, if there's one, if you can buy this yet or not. But they also do What's in John's Cart when they go around, in stores and look for best deals on things like that, like Halloween costumes and food and stuff like that. But I really love this series. It's definitely one of my favorite, YouTube series to watch. And I even, sent the macaroni and cheese once on here. They have the episodes, when I sent them stuff to review. And the next one from E1 is Anguish. This is a pretty interesting movie. It's from the producer of Strangers, and it's basically about, in the beginning of this movie, you see this girl who is, kind of like depressed, and she's getting in an argument with her mother, and she ends up jumping out of the car real quick when they're on the side of the road, ends up getting hit and killed. And then it starts off with this mom and daughter who have moved into this new town. The daughter is kind of medicated. She's always on medicine for like depression and anxiety and all kinds of different issues that are going on. When she moves to this town to kind of get a fresh start because of all the problems that they've had in the past, and trying to, get everything controlled with the daughter, she ends up going there and starts to kind of having these like nightmares and these visions and stuff of this girl who, you see get killed in the beginning of the movie. And the mother is like trying to figure out if, like, the way because she's acting really strange because of all this, and she's like, is she not taking her medicine? Is there some kind of a reaction to her medicine? What is going on here? Is there some kind of possession going on? It's like kind of this whole thing of what in the world is happening to this daughter, because like I said, she's had all these kind of issues in the past, and the mother is trying to figure out what is going on here, with more problems going on, and what's she going to do if she need to like get her on different type of medicine, try and figure out the whole thing, if there's some kind of thing going on, if there's some kind of spirit that's like, I don't know, I thought it was actually a pretty interesting thing, like a different take too on like the idea of people kind of being real medicated and stuff like that. The next one, E1 as well, is Lake Fear. There's a pretty cool cover on this one, like a raised out cover on this. And it's basically about these 4 girls who end up going up to this cabin in the middle of the woods, and they kind of like go out there just kind of like wandering off, and they go, yeah, we'll find somewhere to stay, and they end up coming across this cabin, which they end up going into. Little they know that, though, there's something really strange about this cabin. They go in there, and then they kind of like one by one start vanishing, and weird things start happening to them. It's kind of has like an Evil Dead kind of vibe, because there's even like scenes that are very similar to the new Evil Dead movie, like the tongue thing, and a lot of different stuff. It's got that total Evil Dead kind of vibe to this, of these girls in this cabin that are stuck in there, with weird things start happening to them, and they kind of talk about in the back as like a labyrinth. It sort of is like a labyrinth of them kind of going from weird scenario to scenario in this cabin, and like with a real cabin fever kind of cabin in the woods vibe to this movie. But it was actually not a bad movie. Like I said, it has some cool sequences in this movie. And the next one from Breaking Glass Pictures is Curse of the Poltergeist. This is a haunted house kind of movie. Basically about a group of these friends who are going on vacation to stay in this vacation type house, but they rent it for very cheap. It's like a really too good of a deal, but they know though that there has been like some past to this house. It has some bad things that happened to it years back, and the woman that they rent it from is very sketchy and very strange, like woman. She's acting really weird. They're kind of looking at her sideways, like they know there's something kind of odd, but it's one of those things where it's like a really good deal. So like, oh yeah, we'll grin and bear it and put up with it to like rent this house. But they go in there and odd things start to happen to them, especially the one girl, and it kind of deals with like, possessions and weird stuff kind of happening to them, and they're kind of looking as like, is that woman behind it, that woman who they rented the house from, is it kind of just like in their imaginations, or what exactly is it, what is doing this to them? But that's essentially though the plot of this movie. I thought that it was okay, like kind of possession, haunted house kind of film. And the last one, from Vinegar Syndrome, and this is an interesting movie because it's like stars Herschel Savage, who's from adult films. This is sort of an adult kind of film, pretty much an adult film, but it was like more acting wise. Like I don't think I really recall seeing Herschel Savage in lot of movies like this where he was like playing this kind of character. Normally he's in it for like a little bit. Like he was in like Debbie Does Dallas and a couple other ones, but he's still like at it today in his like late 50s. This movie's called Blue Ice, and Ron Jeremy's actually in this movie as well. And it's like a really odd movie. And the guy in this movie, it was like, how did they get him in this movie? It was a guy from Mark of the Devil who was a really, really creepy guy with like the long hair. And like I knew him from something. I looked it up. It was from Mark of the Devil. It's like one of his last movies that he did. I'm like, how in the world did they get him in this movie? Because it was, like I said, it was like an adult film, and he was in it like looking really creepy and really odd. Like he was the coolest thing in this movie. He wasn't in a whole lot, but it's about this book that they're trying to get, and it's like these Nazis, like this group of these Nazis want the book, and there's other guy who wants the book, so they can believe it can like open like this like gateway and like bring out this person. And basically he's like Blue Ice is like this person that kind of looks like Zool from Ghostbusters a little bit. It was like they definitely kind of like, this came out after Ghostbusters, and I feel like they might have gotten like the idea of the look from Ghostbusters a little bit. But it's a strange like detective kind of story about Herschel trying to find this book. It's not exactly what you'd expect at all. As usual though with Vinegar Syndrome though, the transfer on this one is amazing. They really can find like great elements to these movies and transfer them really well. But it has on here though, commentary track with Herschel Savage, one of the other actors in the movie. It's scanned in 2K, but like an interesting, weird, unexpected kind of movie. Especially kind of cool though to see that guy in this movie, because it was like I said, you would not expect to see him in this. But anyway though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this shopping video. Thanks again for watching, for subscribing, guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.